Hey guys, welcome back to Cyber Platter. Today we'll learn about IT audit. There's part one of interview questions and answers. I recommend going through that video first. I will link that in the description box. It has 10 questions related to IT audit interview questions. There are other videos as well related to cybersecurity, identity and access management, digital certificates, signatures. I will link all of them in the description box if you want to go through that. Let's go to the first question of this video. I've written as 11 because 10 are covered in part 1. How do you evaluate an organization's cybersecurity posture during an IT audit, and what key areas do you assess? To answer this question, you can say when evaluating an organization's cybersecurity posture during an IT audit, I employ a comprehensive approach that involves assessing various key areas to ensure a robust and resilient security framework. Now, let's talk about the key areas that you might want to focus on. First one is security policies and procedures. Review and analyze the organization's cybersecurity policies and procedures to ensure they are well defined, up to date, and align with industry best practices. Next is risk management. Evaluate the effectiveness of the organization's risk management processes, including risk identification, assessment, and mitigation strategies. Ensure that risks are prioritized based on their potential impact on the organization. Next, network security. Assess the organization's network architecture and security controls to prevent unauthorized access. This includes the examination of firewalls, intrusion detection or prevention systems, and network segmentation. Next, data protection. Examine how the organization classifies, stores, and transmits sensitive data. Verify the implementation of encryption mechanisms to protect data both in transit and at rest. Next, access controls. Evaluate the management of user access rights, ensuring that the principle of least privilege is maintained. Review processes for user authentication, authorization, and periodic access reviews. Next, endpoint security. Assess the security measures in place for end user devices, including antivirus software, endpoint detection and response solutions, and the organization's ability to respond to endpoint security incidents. Next, incident response and management. Review the organization's incident response plan, capabilities, and processes for detecting and responding to security incidents. Verify the regular testing and refinement of the incident response plan. Next, security awareness and training. Evaluate the effectiveness of the organization's cybersecurity awareness program and training initiatives for employees. Ensure that employees are informed about security best practices and potential threats. Next, physical security. Assess the physical security measures in place to protect critical IT infrastructure such as server rooms and data centers. Ensure that access controls and surveillance systems are effectively deployed. Next, vendor management. Examine how the organization assesses and manages cybersecurity risks associated with third-party vendors. Ensure that there are processes for monitoring and ensuring the security of third-party services and products. Next, compliance. Verify compliance with relevant cybersecurity regulations and standards. Ensure that the organization conducts regular compliance audits and stays informed about changes in regulatory requirements. Next, security monitoring and logging. Evaluate the organization's security monitoring and logging capabilities. Ensure that there is a centralized logging system in place and that logs are regularly reviewed for suspicious activities. Next, patch management. Assess how the organization identifies and patches software and system vulnerabilities. Ensure that there is a well-defined and efficient patch management process in place. Next, business continuity and disaster recovery. Review measures in place to ensure business continuity in the event of a cyber incident. Verify the testing and effectiveness of disaster recovery plans. Next, emerging threats and technology. Evaluate how the organization stays informed informed about emerging cybersecurity threats and adopts new cybersecurity technologies, ensure a proactive approach to addressing evolving security challenges. So, by examining these key features, you can aim to provide a comprehensive assessment of the organization's cybersecurity posture and identify opportunities for improvement to enhance overall resilience against cyber threats. Let's go to the next question. Give an example of a time when you conducted a compliance audit and identified areas of non compliance. And how did you address this situation? So, you can say in a previous role as an IT auditor, I conducted a compliance audit for a financial services organization to ensure adherence to regulatory requirements and industry standards. The specific framework we were auditing against included elements of ISO 27001 and regulatory guidelines relevant to the financial sector. During the audit, I identified several areas of non-compliance, like for example, access control. The organization lacked a comprehensive and up-to-date access control policy. User access reviews were irregular, and there were instances of users having unnecessary access privileges. Another area is incident response. The incident response plan was outdated and did not align with current cybersecurity threats. There was a lack of documented procedures for reporting and responding to cybersecurity incidents promptly. Another area was data protection. Sensitive customer data was not consistently encrypted in transit and at rest. The data classification policy needed refinement for clearer identification of sensitive information. Now, going to the part where you need to address this situation. So, you have identified non compliance. Now, how will you address it? First, detailed reporting. I prepared a detailed audit report outlining the specific non compliance issues identified in each area. The report included evidence, observations, and recommendations for improvement. Next, engagement with stakeholders. I scheduled meetings with relevant stakeholders, including IT managers, security officers, and compliance officers, to discuss the findings, and it was crucial to understand their perspective and gather additional context. Next, collaborative action plan. Together with the stakeholders, we developed a collaborative action plan to address the identified non compliance issues. This plan included specific tasks, timelines, and responsible parties for each corrective action. Next, policy and procedure updates. I work closely with the organization's policy and procedure owners to update and strengthen the access control policy, incident response plan, and data protection measures. This involved clarifying roles and responsibilities, improving documentation, and ensuring alignment with industry best practices. Next, training and awareness. Recognizing the importance of user awareness, I recommended and facilitated training sessions for employees on the updated policies and procedures. This aimed to ensure that everyone understood their roles in maintaining compliance. Next, continuous monitoring. To prevent recurrence, I advised the implementation of continuous monitoring mechanisms such as regular access reviews, ongoing policy assessments, and periodic drills to test the incident response plan. Next, follow up audits. I recommended follow up audits to verify the effectiveness of the implemented corrective actions and to ensure sustained compliance over time. So, by taking these steps, we not only address the immediate non compliance issues but also established a proactive framework for continuous improvement. The collaborative approach fostered a culture of accountability and awareness within the organization, contributing to a more robust and compliant cybersecurity posture. Let's go to the next question. What strategies do you use to monitor and report on IT security and compliance? And how do you communicate audit findings to stakeholders and senior management? So, monitoring and reporting on IT security and compliance involves a combination of strategic planning, effective tools, and clear communication. First, let's see some of the monitoring strategies. In this, first one is SIM systems. security information and event management systems. So you implement SIM systems to collect, analyze, and correlate security events across the IT infrastructure. This allows for real-time monitoring of security incidents. Next, continuous security monitoring. Utilize continuous monitoring tools to detect and respond to security threats promptly. This involves monitoring network traffic, system logs, and endpoint activities for anomalous behavior. Next, vulnerability scanning. Regularly conduct vulnerability assessments to identify and remediate potential security weaknesses. This helps in proactively addressing issues before they can be exploited. Next, regular compliance audits. Conduct periodic compliance audits to ensure ongoing adherence to industry regulations and organizational policies. This involves both internal assessments and external reviews against relevant standards. Next, user activity monitoring. Implement user activity monitoring solutions to track and analyze user behavior, especially privileged users. This helps in detecting any unauthorized or suspicious activities. Next, incident response drills, IR drills. Conduct simulated incident response drills to test the effectiveness of response plans and identify areas of improvement. This proactive approach ensures preparedness for real world security incidents. Next is reporting strategies. First, comprehensive audit reports. Prepare detailed and comprehensive audit reports that outline the scope, methodology, findings, and recommendations. These reports should provide stakeholders with a clear understanding of the organization's security and compliance posture. Next, risk based approach. Present findings using a risk based approach, emphasizing the potential impact and likelihood of identified risks. This helps stakeholders prioritize and address the most critical issues first. Next, clear and actionable recommendations. Provide clear and actionable recommendations for addressing identified issues. Each recommendation should include specific steps for remediation and improvement. Next, executive summaries. Include executive summaries and audit reports tailored for senior management. These summaries should provide a high level overview of key findings, risks, and recommended actions. Next, visualizations and dashboards. Use visualizations and dashboards to present key security and compliance metrics. This helps stakeholders quickly grasp the current state of IT security and compliance. Next is communication strategies. First, stakeholder engagement. Engage with stakeholders throughout the audit process to gather insights, address concerns, and ensure alignment with organizational goals. This fosters a collaborative and transparent approach. Next, regular briefings. Conduct regular briefings with senior management to provide updates on ongoing monitoring activities, emerging threats, and the status of corrective actions. This ensures continuous awareness and support. Next, feedback sessions. Schedule feedback sessions to gather input from stakeholders on the effectiveness of security measures and compliance initiatives. This feedback loop helps in refining security strategies. Next, timely notifications. Immediately communicate critical security incidents and high priority compliance issues to senior management. Timely notifications enable prompt decision making and response. So, by combining robust monitoring tools, clear reporting structures, and effective communication strategies, organizations can maintain a proactive stance towards IT security and compliance. This approach ensures that stakeholders and senior management are well informed and equipped to make informed decisions in support of a secure and compliant IT environment. Let's go to the next question. Can you explain the importance of incident response and crisis management in the context of an IT audit? Now, let's see some of the reasons to understand the importance of incident response and crisis management in IT audits. First, rapid mitigation of threats. Incident response ensures a swift and effective reaction to security incidents. This capability is crucial for minimizing the impact of a security breach and preventing further damage. Next, minimizing downtime. Efficient incident response helps minimize downtime by quickly isolating affected systems, restoring services, and preventing the spread of the incident to other parts of the network. Next, protecting data and assets. Incident response is vital for protecting sensitive data and critical assets. A well defined plan helps identify and contain incidents, reducing the risk of data breaches and unauthorized access. Next, legal and regulatory compliance. Having a robust incident response plan ensures that an organization can meet legal and regulatory requirements. It demonstrates due diligence in addressing security incidents and mitigating their impact. Next, preserving a reputation. Effective crisis management contributes to preserving the organization's reputation. A timely and well handled response can reassure customers, partners, and stakeholders that the organization is capable of managing cybersecurity challenges. Next, continuous improvement. Regularly testing and updating incident response plans contribute to a culture of continuous improvement. It allows organizations to learn from each incident, refining processes, and improving their overall security posture. So, these are some of the key points explaining the importance of incident response and crisis management in IT audits. Let's go to the next question. How do you assess an organization's readiness in incident response and crisis management? First, incident response plan review. Evaluate the existence and completeness of the organization's incident response plan. Assess whether it includes roles and responsibilities, communication plans, escalation procedures, and predefined response actions. Next, tabletop exercise. Conduct tabletop exercises to simulate real world scenarios. This helps assess the effectiveness of the incident response team, communication protocols, and decision making processes. Next, testing communication channels. Assess the readiness of communication channels, both internal and external. This includes ensuring that key personnel can be reached promptly and that there are predefined communication methods during a crisis. Next, incident classification and prioritization. Evaluate the organization's ability to classify and prioritize incidents based on their severity. This ensures that critical incidents receive immediate attention and resources. Next, coordination with external entities. Assess the organization's ability to coordinate with external entities such as law enforcement, regulatory bodies, and incident response service providers. This is crucial for a comprehensive response. Next, documentation and post incident analysis. Review documentation practices for incidents, including the collection of evidence and post incident analysis. A well documented incident provides valuable insights for improving future responses. Next, incident reporting procedures. Evaluate the organization's procedures for reporting incidents internally. Ensure that there is a clear and efficient process for employees to report potential security incidents. Next, integration with other security measures. Assess how incident response is integrated with other security measures such as intrusion detection systems, SIM solutions, and vulnerability management. Next, crisis management team review. Evaluate the composition and readiness of the crisis management team. Ensure that key stakeholders are identified and there is a clear understanding of their roles during a crisis. Next, regulatory compliance. Ensure that the incident response plan aligns with regulatory requirements and industry standards. Assess the organization's ability to demonstrate compliance with incident reporting and response regulations. So, by thoroughly assessing these aspects, an IT auditor can provide insights into an organization's readiness to handle cybersecurity incidents and manage crisis effectively. Let's go to the next question. How do you handle sensitive information and maintain confidentiality during an IT audit, especially when dealing with potential security breaches or incidents? So, handling sensitive information and maintaining confidentiality is very important during an IT audit, particularly when dealing with potentially potential security breaches or incidents. Let's see some of the best practices to ensure the secure handling of sensitive information. First, access controls. Implement strict access controls to limit access to sensitive information only to authorized personnel involved directly in the audit. Use role based access to ensure that individuals have the minimum necessary permissions. Next, encryption. Utilize encryption for sensitive data both in transit and at rest. This helps protect information from unauthorized access or interception, especially when transferring data between systems or storing it on devices. Next, secure communication channels. Use secure communication channels such as encrypted emails or secure file sharing platforms to exchange sensitive information. Avoid sending sensitive data through unsecured or public communication channels. Next, need to know basis. Share sensitive information strictly on a need to know basis. Limit access to information to individuals directly involved in the audit process and who require the data to perform their roles. Next, confidentiality agreements. Require personnel involved in the audit, including external auditors and consultants, to sign confidentiality agreements. These agreements underscore the importance of keeping sensitive information confidential. Next, secure storage. Ensure that sensitive information, whether in digital or physical form, is stored securely. This may involve encrypting files using secure storage devices and implementing access controls for physical documents. Next, anonymization and pseudonymization. When possible, use techniques like anonymization or pseudonymization to protect the identities of individuals associated with sensitive information. This adds an extra layer of privacy. Next, secure audit trail. Maintain a secure audit trail that records access to sensitive information. This allows for monitoring and reviewing who accessed the data and when, aiding in accountability and incident response. Then secure remote access. If remote access is necessary, ensure that it is conducted through secure and encrypted connections. Implement multi-factor authentication to enhance the security of remote access. Next, incident response plan. Have a well-defined incident response plan that includes procedures for handling potential security breaches or incidents. This plan should outline steps for reporting, investigating, and mitigating incidents while maintaining confidentiality. Next, employee training. Provide training to personnel involved in the audit on the importance of confidentiality and the proper handling of sensitive information. This includes awareness of potential social engineering attacks targeting audit processes. Next, secure disposal. Develop procedures for the secure disposal of sensitive information once the audit is complete. This may involve securely deleting digital data and using shredding services for physical documents. Next, regular security audits. Conduct regular security audits to assess and validate the effectiveness of the controls in place for maintaining confidentiality. This includes reviewing access logs, conducting penetration testing, and ensuring compliance with security policies. Next, legal and regulatory compliance. Ensure that the handling of sensitive information aligns with legal and regulatory requirements. Familiarize yourself with data protection laws and industry specific regulations to ensure compliance. Next, transparent communication. In the event of a security breach or incident, maintain transparent communication with relevant stakeholders. Clearly communicate the nature of the incident, steps being taken for a resolution, and any potential impacts while still preserving confidentiality to the extent possible. So, by incorporating these best practices, an IT auditor can significantly enhance the security and confidentiality of sensitive information during the audit process, even in the face of potential security breaches or incidents. Let's go to the next question. How do you communicate technical findings and audit results to non-technical stakeholders, including senior management, in a clear and understandable manner? So, communicating technical findings and audit results to non technical stakeholders is a crucial skill for an IT auditor. Let's see some of the key points on how to present technical information in a clear and understandable manner. First, understand your audience. Before crafting your message, understand the level of technical expertise your audience possesses. Tailor your communication to match their knowledge and use language that resonates with their understanding. Next, focus on business impact. Emphasize the business impact of your findings. Connect technical details to potential risks and consequences that may affect the organization's objectives, finances, reputation, and compliance. Next, use plain language. Avoid technical terms. Explain complex concepts in simple, everyday language. Use analogies and metaphors to make technical concepts more relatable. Next, visual aids. Utilize visual aids such as charts, graphs, and diagrams to illustrate key points. Visuals can help simplify complex information and make it easier for non technical stakeholders to grasp the essence of your findings. Next, executive summary. Provide an executive summary at the beginning of your report. This should briefly outline key findings, risks, and recommended actions. Senior management often prefers to start with a high level overview. Next, prioritize information. Present the most critical information first. Focus on the top findings and risks that require immediate attention. This ensures that stakeholders grasp the urgency and importance of the issues. Next, real world examples. Use real world examples to illustrate technical findings. Relate your findings to actual scenarios or incidents that can help stakeholders understand the practical implications. Next, contextualize technical details. Provide context for technical details. Explain why certain technical measures are important in the context of the organization's goals, industry standards, or regulatory requirements. Next, interactive discussions. Engage in interactive discussions, encourage questions, and be prepared to provide additional clarification. This helps build a better understanding and ensures that stakeholders are comfortable seeking further information. Next, risk matrices. Use risk matrices to visually represent the likelihood and impact of identified risks. This allows stakeholders to quickly assess the severity of each finding and prioritize their response accordingly. Next, highlight mitigation strategies. Clearly outline recommended mitigation strategies. Explain how these strategies address the identified risks and contribute to enhancing the organization's overall security posture. Next, be solutions oriented. Present not only problems but also potential solutions. Senior management appreciates proactive thinking and providing clear recommendations demonstrates your commitment to improving the organization's security. Next, provide a roadmap. Offer a roadmap for addressing the findings, break down the steps required for remediation, and provide a timeline for implementation. This helps stakeholders visualize the path forward. Next, follow up meetings. Schedule follow up meetings to discuss the audit findings in more detail. This provides an opportunity for stakeholders to ask questions and seek further clarification in a less formal setting. Next, feedback mechanism. Establish a feedback mechanism. Encourage stakeholders to provide feedback on the clarity and usefulness of your communication. This allows you to refine your approach in future interactions. So, by employing these strategies, you can effectively bridge the gap between technical details and non technical stakeholders. This ensures that your audit results are communicated in a way that resonates with senior management and contributes to informed decision making. Let's go to the next question. Give an example of a time when you had to work collaboratively with cross functional teams to achieve IT audit objectives. So you can say, in a previous role as an IT auditor, I was assigned a comprehensive audit project focused on assessing the organization's overall cybersecurity posture. The scope included reviewing network security, access controls, incident response capabilities, and compliance with industry standards. To accomplish the audit objectives, collaboration with cross functional cross-functional teams was essential. One specific instance that highlighted this collaboration involved the assessment of the organization's incident response capabilities. So, after this introduction, you can talk about the scenario. So, during the audit, I identified the need to evaluate the effectiveness of the incident response plan and conduct a simulated tabletop exercise to test the organization's preparedness for a security incident. I recognize the complexity of this task and the need for input from various departments. Some of the teams that I collaborated with were first one IT security team. Worked closely with the IT security team to understand the existing incident response plan, including procedures for detection, analysis, containment, eradication, and recovery. Gathered insights into their current processes and identified potential areas for improvement. Next, IT operations team collaborated with the IT operations team to ensure that the incident response plan aligned with the organization's infrastructure and systems. This involved understanding the organization's network architecture and identifying critical systems that needed to be included in the tabletop exercise. Next, legal and compliance teams engaged with legal and compliance teams to ensure that the incident response plan and simulated exercise were in compliance with relevant regulations and industry standards. Obtained guidance on the legal aspects of incident response, data breach notification, and documentation requirements. Next, communication and public relations team coordinated with the communication and public relations teams to develop a communication strategy in the event of a simulated incident. This included crafting internal and external messaging to maintain transparency while preserving the organization's reputation. Once you talk about the scenario, next talk about the outcome of this. The collaborative efforts led to well-rounded assessment of the organization's incident response capabilities. The tabletop exercise simulated a realistic scenario, allowing us to identify strengths and weaknesses in the existing plan. Additionally, the collaboration fostered a shared understanding of the importance of incident response across different departments. The incident response plan was updated to address identified gaps and improve coordination. Cross functional teams gained a deeper appreciation for each other's roles in incident response. The organization became more prepared to handle real world security incidents with improved communication channels and a streamlined incident response process. So, this experience underscored the value of cross functional collaboration in achieving IT audit objectives, particularly when addressing complex and interconnected aspects of cybersecurity and incident response. It emphasized the need for a holistic approach that considers the perspectives and expertise of various teams within the organization. Let's go to the next question. Explain the role of IT audits in ensuring an organization's compliance with relevant laws, regulations, and industry standards, for example, GDPR, HIPAA, PCI DSS. So, IT audit plays a crucial role in ensuring an organization's compliance with relevant laws, regulations, and industry standards. The primary focus is on assessing the effectiveness of information technology controls and practices to safeguard sensitive data, maintain privacy, and uphold the integrity of IT systems. Let's see some of the key points that explain the role of IT audits in ensuring compliance with specific regulations. First, understanding regulatory frameworks. IT auditors must have a comprehensive understanding of relevant laws, regulations, and industry standards that pertain to the organization's operations. This includes but is not limited to regulations such as GDPR, that is General Data Protection Regulations, HIPAA, that is Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, and PCI DSS, Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. Next, assessing data protection and privacy controls. For regulations like GDPR and HIPAA that focus on data protection and privacy, IT audits evaluate controls in place to protect sensitive information. This includes assessing measures such as data encryption, access controls, data retention policies, and mechanisms for ensuring data subject rights. Next, evaluating security controls. IT auditors assess security controls to ensure compliance with industry standards and regulations. This involves examining access controls, network security measures, encryption protocols, and vulnerability management practices to protect against unauthorized access and data breaches. Next, PCI DSS compliance audits. In the context of PCI DSS, IT audits specifically focus on evaluating controls related to payment card data security. This includes assessing the security of cardholder data, encryption of sensitive information, access controls, and monitoring of payment card transactions. Next, assessing incident response preparedness. IT audits play a crucial role in evaluating an organization's incident response capabilities. This is crucial for compliance with various regulations as it ensures that the organization can detect, respond to, and mitigate security incidents in a timely and effective manner. Next, reviewing IT governance and policies. IT audits assess the organization's IT governance framework, policies, and procedures to ensure alignment with regulatory requirements. This includes reviewing documentation, governance structures, and adherence to established policies. Next, monitoring and reporting. IT auditors monitor ongoing compliance with relevant regulations and standards. Regular audits and assessments help identify any deviations from compliance requirements. Detailed reports are then generated to communicate findings, including areas of non compliance and recommendations for improvements. Next, ensuring data integrity and availability. Compliance with regulations often involves ensuring the integrity and availability of data. IT audits assess controls that protect data from unauthorized modifications and ensure that critical systems and information are available when needed. Next, maintaining records of audits. Compliance often requires organizations to maintain records and documentation. IT audits ensure that the necessary documentation, such as security policies, risk assessments, and audit trails, is not only in place but also regularly reviewed and updated. Next, continuous improvement. IT audits contribute to the organization's continuous improvement efforts by identifying areas of non compliance or weaknesses in controls. IT auditors help the organization implement corrective actions and enhancements to its IT environments. So, in summary, IT audits are instrumental in verifying and validating an organization's adherence to laws, regulations, and industry standards. They provide a structured and systematic approach to assess the effectiveness of IT controls, security measures, and governance structures. This ensures that the organization meets its compliance obligations and safeguards sensitive information appropriately. Next question. What are the common security standards and frameworks that you are familiar with, and how do you ensure compliance with them during IT audits? So, as an IT professional, understanding and implementing security standards and frameworks is crucial for ensuring the security and compliance of an organization's IT infrastructure. Now, let's see some of the common security standards and frameworks along with strategies to ensure compliance during IT audits. First, ISO IEC 27001. This is an international standard for ISMS, that is Information Security Management Systems. Now let's see the strategies to ensure compliance with ISO IEC 27001. First, conduct a comprehensive risk assessment to identify and prioritize information security risks. Next, implement and document security policies, procedures, and controls based on the risk assessment. Next, regularly conduct internal audits to assess the effectiveness of the ISMS. Next, engage in continuous improvement by addressing identified weaknesses and evolving threats. Next framework is NIST Cybersecurity Framework, that is CSF. NIST stands for National Institute of Standards and Technology. So, Cybersecurity Framework CSF was developed by the NIST. It provides a set of voluntary guidelines for improving cybersecurity. Now let's see some of the strategies to ensure compliance with NIST CSF. First, align cybersecurity activities with the framework's core functions, that is, identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. Then, use the framework's categories and subcategories to develop specific security controls. Next, periodically assess cybersecurity posture and adjust controls based on changes in the organization's risk profile. Next, foster communication and collaboration among different business units to enhance cybersecurity resilience. Next standard is PCI DSS, that is Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. It is a set of security standards designed to ensure that all companies accepting, processing, storing, or transmitting credit card information maintain a secure environment. Now, the strategies to ensure compliance with PCI DSS: regularly assess and validate compliance with PCI DSS requirements, implement and maintain robust security measures to protect cardholder data, conduct regular vulnerability scans and penetration tests, limit access to cardholder data on a need to know basis. Next one is CIS, critical security controls, or just CIS controls. The CIS controls, this was developed by the CIS, Center for Internet Security. The CIS controls provide a prioritized set of cybersecurity best practices. Now, how to maintain compliance with this? First, prioritize and implement controls based on the organization's risk profile. Regularly assess the effectiveness of implemented controls through audits and evaluations. Next, integrate the controls into the organization's overall cybersecurity strategy. Next, periodically review and update controls based on emerging threats and vulnerabilities. The next standard is HIPAA. It stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. HIPAA sets standards for the protection of sensitive patient health information. How do you ensure compliance with HIPAA? First, implement administrative, physical, and technical safeguards to protect health information. Conduct regular risk assessments to identify and mitigate potential vulnerabilities. Next, develop and maintain policies and procedures that address HIPAA requirements. Next, train staff on HIPAA compliance and security awareness. Next framework is COBIT. It stands for Control Objectives for Information and Related Technologies. This is a framework for the governance and management of enterprise IT. So, how to ensure compliance with COBIT? First, align IT objectives with business goals using COBIT's governance and management practices. Next, establish and communicate IT policies and procedures. Next, monitor and assess the performance of IT processes using KPIs, that is key performance indicators. Next, continuously improve IT processes based on performance evaluations. So, general strategies for ensuring compliance in IT audits include thorough assessments, documentation, regular audits, training and awareness, continuous improvement, risk based approach, collaboration, and communication. By systematically incorporating these strategies, IT auditors can help organizations not only achieve but also maintain compliance with various security standards and frameworks. This contributes to a robust and resilient cybersecurity posture. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you learned a little bit about IT audit. If you did, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our videos. I will see you again in part 3 of IT audit. Until then, take care of yourselves. See you soon. Bye bye.